Good morning, dear students. Today we will discuss chapter 16, Garbage in, Garbage out. In this chapter, we will study about waste. What is waste? What are the different types of waste? And what is the need to manage waste wisely? We will study different ways by which we can manage waste carefully. And lastly, we will study about plastic. It is a boon or curse. So let's start the chapter. First of all, what is garbage? Garbage means waste generated is garbage. All human activities generate waste. For example, if we take the examples of waste, anything that is of no use for us, that is waste for us. So, for example, if we talk about the kitchen waste, vegetable and fruit peels, tea leaves, etc., garden waste, dry leaves, etc., and old bottles, old broken bottles, old slippers, old clothes, these all are the examples of waste. If we talk from where waste comes from houses, schools, colleges, industries, hospitals, offices, etc. As with the increase of the population, the amount of waste generated, it is also increasing. So it is a very big challenge to dispose of the waste properly. We'll study that how means if waste it is not disposed of properly, then what can be the harmful effects. For example, if the waste it is not disposed of properly, let's say it is thrown somewhere in your locality in one open area, so what will happen? It will spread, it will release bad smell, it will lead to the spread of diseases. But if you burn the waste, then that is also not a good option, because burning of garbage, it produces smoke and the harmful gases. And if this garbage it is thrown in the water bodies, then it pollutes the water bodies. So it is very important to dispose of waste properly. So let's try to understand different types of waste. So first is biodegradable waste. If we talk about the waste can be solid waste, gaseous waste, or liquid waste. Okay, gaseous waste means like smoke generated from the vehicles and some industries. And if we take the example of liquid waste, then the wastewater, for example, wastewater generated from the industry. Solid waste, I have given lot many examples like kitchen waste, garden waste, animal dung, etc. So if we talk about the classification of waste, then the solid waste, it has been classified into two categories based on their decomposition. We will study what is this decomposition. So let's try to understand. There are two types of waste. One is biodegradable waste and another is non-biodegradable waste. Biodegradable waste is the waste that decomposes naturally. I will explain it what it is. Let's see this also. Non-biodegradable waste is the waste that does not decompose. Okay, now come back here. Biodegradable waste, the waste that decomposes naturally. Decomposition means breaking down of a substance into simpler form. So if we talk about biodegradable waste, the biodegradable waste is the waste that decomposes naturally by the decomposers. Decomposers are the microorganisms that decompose any organic matter into the simpler form. Examples of decomposers are different types of bacteria, fungi, worms, etc. So here let's see the examples. Kitchen waste like eggshells, tea leaves, peels of fruits and vegetables. If we talk about then other is garden waste, animal waste, etc. These are the examples of biodegradable waste. Management of this biodegradable waste is not a big problem. Why? Because biodegradable waste, it can be converted into compost. What I spoke, it can be converted into compost, or we can say manure. What is this manure? Let's try to understand. These biodegradable waste, if they are buried in a pit and then covered with the soil, then the biodegradable waste, after a few weeks, it gets converted into compost, or you can say it gets converted into manure. And this process of conversion of this solid biodegradable waste in manure, it is known as composting. This manure, if it is added to the soil, it increases the fertility of soil. It increases the water holding capacity of the soil. Okay. So biodegradable waste, they can be converted into manure by the process composting. We will discuss about it after some time. Okay. Now come to non-biodegradable waste. Non-biodegradable waste are the waste that does not decompose. That means such type of waste, they do not break down and they keep on accumulating. Okay, so, and they keep on accumulating. So the management of non-biodegradable waste is a big challenge. If we talk about the examples are plastic, glass, metal containers, etc. Let's see. Polythene covers, plastic bottles, cold drink cans, uh, aluminium containers, broken glass bottles, etc. So these are the examples of non-biodegradable waste. The problem with this waste is that it doesn't decompose. It remains there. If you will bury it under the soil, it will remain there for years. It will not decompose. It will not get broken down into the simpler form as it happens in case of biodegradable waste. So the disposal of non-biodegradable waste is a big problem. Now, coming back to the biodegradable waste. As I told, biodegradable waste, it can be converted into manure by the process composting. So this composting, it is a very good method. It is cheap and it is easy to do this. So this composting method, it is considered a good method. It has two advantages. One way we are getting rid of waste, and on another hand we are getting one useful product that is useful for soil, and it increases the fertility of the soil, which ultimately leads to the better growth of plants. So if we talk about the management of the biodegradable waste. So the one method is composting and another method is vermicomposting. What is this vermicomposting? Okay, we will study this after some time. So now, after understanding the different types of waste, now we will study that how we can manage waste. So let me erase this. Now we will discuss waste management. So waste management, it can be done by different ways. So for this, the formula that we use, 3R formula is also used for the waste management. So what we will study now? Waste management. As I told, for the waste management, a very good formula is 3R rule. 3R rule. If we talk about this 3R rule, then it can be classified as reduce, reuse, and recycle. Let me first write down all the methods, then we will discuss this in detail. The first is this, second is the landfills, composting, vermicomposting, so these are the different methods by which we can manage waste. So let's talk about this 3R rule. 3R rule, it says that reduce, reuse and recycle. Means first is reduce the amount of garbage. How we can do this? For example, instead of using polythene covers, use cloth bags, jute bags. So we are minimizing the use of the polythene covers. Use the both sides of the paper, okay, and take only those much things as much you need. If we move on to the next, reuse. Reuse means using any object, using any material again and again. Okay, reuse means instead of throwing any object as waste, use that again and again. For example, plastic containers, aluminium containers, these can be, or glass containers, they can be used for storage purpose. So similarly, plastic objects, aluminium containers, these, or we can say metallic containers, paper products, they can be reused. For example, newspaper, it can be used for making paper envelope. Okay, we are reusing the newspaper for making paper envelope. So we can reuse the objects, and this way, by reusing the objects, by reusing the materials, what we are doing, we are reducing the amount of the waste. So one way we are reducing the amount of the waste. And the third is, the most important, is the recycle. If we talk about recycle, what is the meaning of recycle? Recycle means formation of useful materials from waste products. So recycle means when we are processing the waste products, when the waste products they are processed so as to make new items from them. Okay, so that process is known as recycling. So what happens in this process of recycling? This recycling, it results in formation of useful materials from the waste products. For example, these non-biodegradable waste items like plastic objects and the glass object, metallic things, they can be recycled in the industry so as to make new items, or we can say the useful objects from them. So recycling is a very good practice for the waste management. Now the next is landfill. What is landfill? Landfill is an open low-lying area for the waste disposal. Okay, so what is done? Landfill, it is an open big area where the waste is dumped, or we can say where waste is disposed. So this landfill, this is a low-lying area. So before disposing the waste in the landfills, as I told, it is a big open low-lying area in which the waste is dumped. So before dumping the waste in the landfill, the useful and the non-useful components, they are separated. Useful components like biodegradable waste, which can be converted into manure, and the materials that can be recycled. So they will be separated, and the remaining waste, it will be put in the landfill. Okay, it will be put in the landfill. It will be spread in the landfill, and then it will be covered with a layer of soil. And when the landfill, it will be filled, and when it will be full, then it will be covered with the layer of soil, and then that landfill is converted into a park or any open ground, or we can say the playground. So the landfills, it is also one method for the waste management. And while choosing the location of landfill, it is taken care that it should be away from the city. Next is composting. I have already told what is composting. In the process of composting, what happens in case of composting? Biodegradable waste such as kitchen waste, garden waste, animal waste. By this process of composting biodegradable waste, it is converted into manure. I have given the examples of these biodegradable waste that can be converted into manure with the help of the microorganisms in the soil. So this process is known as composting. But then what is vermicomposting? Vermicomposting is different from the composting in this way that it is also in vermicomposting method also, the biodegradable waste like kitchen waste, garden waste, and animal waste like animal dung, that is converted into manure. But in case of the vermicomposting, here this process of formation of manure from the biodegradable waste, it is done with the help of the red worms. So when the composting it is done. So what is vermicomposting? When composting it is done with the help of the red worms, this process is known as vermicomposting. Okay, so what is vermicomposting? The process of composting with the help of the red worms. So what is done in this case of vermicomposting? The biodegradable waste like this, I told, animal waste, kitchen waste, garden waste, it is buried in a pit, and then it is covered with, it is buried in a pit, and then red worms are added to this organic matter. These red worms, they ensures the uniform mixing of this organic matter, and this also results in the formation of manure. But the manure that we get from this vermicomposting process, this is of better quality as compared to the compost that we get from the composting method. So I hope the difference between composting and vermicomposting is clear, because now vermicomposting is the composting when it is done with the help of the red worms, and the composting is the method, it is the process in which composting it is done by the microorganisms in the soil. So after this, I hope now we have got a good idea about the waste management. So here we can see that management of the biodegradable waste is not such a big problem. Okay, but the waste management of this non-biodegradable waste, it is a huge challenge. It is a big challenge because it doesn't break down completely. It doesn't break down and keeps on accumulating. So for this, what is the best option for this? That we have given here the 3R. And out of that, reuse and recycling is the best way. So these non-biodegradable waste items like glass items and this plastic objects and the metallic objects, they should be recycled. They should be sent to the recycling centers and they should be recycled. If we talk about plastic, plastic is an important part. Plastic has become an important part in our life nowadays. Why? Because plastic, it is light and weight, it is cheap, it can be easily molded into the various shapes, it is available in the different colors. So plastic has many advantages, but the biggest disadvantages with the plastic is that it is non-biodegradable. If you will see at your homes, then you will see most of the objects that you see around you that are made up of plastic. Okay, but the biggest problem with this is plastic is non-biodegradable. Plastic is non-biodegradable in nature. So the disposal of the plastic waste is a big problem. So the one solution is that it should be recycled. As I told, it has many advantages, but the biggest disadvantage is that it is non-biodegradable in nature, and on burning, it produces smoke and harmful gases. Okay, so what is the solution? What is the solution for plastic waste? The solution for plastic waste is that it should be recycled, and we should minimize the use of the plastic. For example, minimize the use of the polythene covers. Instead of polythene covers, prefer using jute bags, cotton bags, jute bags, cloth bags, etc. And if you are using polythene covers, then reuse them. Okay, and the polythene covers, they should not be thrown here or there, here or there like this. They should always be thrown in the dustbins, because if the plastic bags, polythene covers, they are thrown here or there, then they choke the drainage system. And if those plastic bags, they are swallowed by the cows or the animals, then it is very harmful for them also. So the plastic, if we are using the plastic bags, objects, then we should throw the plastic waste in the dustbins. Okay, and the recycling of the plastic waste is a very good option for its disposal. Now, after talking about the recycling of plastic, now let's talk about recycling of paper. Recycling of paper is also very, very important, because we know that wood is used to make paper. Okay, so if we are recycling the paper, then we are saving trees. And in the process of formation of paper, a lot of amount of water is also used. So when we are recycling the paper, when the paper is recycled, then we are saving trees, and it is good for our environment also. So dear students, this was all about chapter garbage. I hope all the concepts related to waste, different type of waste management, what are the different ways how we can manage waste wisely, it is clear. One thing I have forgot to tell here, as I told in the beginning, the waste, it is classified into two categories: biodegradable waste and non-biodegradable waste. And in large cities, municipality corporations, they provide two dustbins. They provide two different color dustbins. One is blue color dustbin and the second is green color dustbin. If we talk about the colors, green color dustbin and the blue color dustbin. Green color dustbin, it is used for throwing biodegradable waste, and blue color dustbin, it is used for non-biodegradable waste that can be recycled or reused. So dear students, this was all about chapter garbage. Thank you.